This episode's getting bad. This episode's getting bad, and we just both look like the bad cover.
Yo, what is
This
up?
is a really bad episode.
What is up,
yo,
everybody?
What is on? What is on?
I'm feeling good today.
I'm feeling real good today.
I'm feeling real good today. Welcome, everybody, to the Sausage Boys podcast.
Yes.
We're
Welcome,
killing it.
everybody. Welcome. Yeah, we are killing it.
We're killing it. It's crazy because I know we're in a lot of conversations about who is the best kind of up-and-coming broadcasting team in Australia. And I know we're in a lot of those conversations. But I feel like the mainstream doesn't want you to know that just yet, so they can buy us out at a cheaper price. But the reality of the situation is, ladies and gentlemen, we are the next hot commodity.
Yes. Definitely.
Are you joking? That was fantastic timing.
That actually was absolutely fantastic timing.
So the timing thing we're referring to is Krim just flipped his camera and and a little girl fell over. It was almost like you willed that.
That's actually hilarious. Like it was they were just right there, just watching me just then. That was actually kind of amazing. But yes, I think we were talking about how we are the next up and coming. We are basically the modern day Colberts, and then that girl and dog and everyone were just kind of agreeing with us.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it's kind of like a fall down if you agree with this kind of situation. Then she fell over.
Yeah, basically. It's like, do you think they're the best kind of out there right now? If you want to fall down, and yeah, that's exactly what she did.
That's a crazy thing. I wish for everyone that's found us so far, man, imagine being these people that are on the ground floor right now that know what's going on. Because there's stirs.
That's true. And you're actually getting in early. Anyone is kind of a blessing. Yeah. Yeah, there are. There really are. And I guess you're going to be like, oh, yeah, no, we were there early when nothing was going on. And they were like cowardly kind of putting videos of young girls falling over in a public park. Like that's when I came in, not when they were producing Hollywood movies, not when they weren't talking to each other anymore, not when they said, no, he's just not a good person. He's just actually not a good person, and we kind of both have a spite.
You can't even justify the things that he's saying because he hasn't proved. He hasn't proved that he's not a bad person.
And I'll be like, I'll just be completely like leftist. I'll be kind of woke and be like, no, he's just an actual. Like I thought we were joking, but he actually believed all that stuff. It was all fun and games until he actually went to the rallies, until he actually went to the protests, and he actually just became like a.
And then And then I finally, like you're talking all that, and my life gets really bad, and I end up, doing a Facebook Live video.
There we go.
It'd probably be like an Instagram Live video or something like that. Kind of by the time it.
That's true.
And I would maybe even TikTok Live. Maybe I'm going to kill myself on TikTok Live, but I'm going to be smiling during the live. And I just pull a gun out and I shoot my brains out, and everyone's like, why is he smiling?
Yeah.
And then it's leaked to all these different organizations. And it's everything that I've done, but you're also there. So it's like damning evidence, even though you've just trash talked me the whole time.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to kind of be responsible for your suicide.
Yeah, plus you're like, no, he's actually a bad person and whatever, and I just remain silent.
Yeah.
And then
I
just kill myself, and that comes out, and then and then
it looks bad for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like unless I kind of angle it as this is just a great day, because I was thinking about this idea of like the amount of pedophiles and stuff that would have died in 9/11.
Wow. What a great angle.
Like it's how many horrible people were killed. Like, there was literally probably some guy that was abusing his children day in, day out. He goes to work one day, and then the mother comes in later that afternoon and is like, you guys are finally free. He died. Like, that would actually be a day of joy for so many people. Like, if you actually look at the statistics, how many horrible people, like pedophiles, rapists, and murderers would have died. It's a sad thing, but it probably is also a good thing in many ways.
Yeah, what's that? Like, that's kind of like
it's awkward. Even if you think about, like, the Holocaust, how many people were just horrible human beings that died? Like, it's a very true thing that I don't know many people have really explored. Like, I guess you do have this idea that at the end of the day, I'm just going to keep it real, but George Floyd wasn't a good person. What happened was really sad, but he wasn't a good person. It just so happened that he wasn't a good guy. And it's awkward. It's kind of awkward because so many terrible events happen, but a lot of the time, bad people are also the ones who kind of are victims.
I was just thinking about how you said with, like, the Holocaust, and then like there's like one person that they kill in the Holocaust. His name's like Jimmy, for instance, and it's like, oh, I'm really glad that they killed Jimmy. And it's like, why? And it's like, that was a really bad guy. He could possibly be responsible for the next Holocaust.
Oh, imagine how many kind of evil people never really got to, again, like, Syria had not the Holocaust happened, had not 9/11 happened. That's what people kind of fail to realize. Like, with a lot of these tragic events, it's kind of saving so many different outcomes that could be potentially worse.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, you don't know, there's only one timeline, I believe.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, things that would happen, doesn't matter because they didn't. So you just have to look at it. And unless you have proof to say that they were bad people, I'm going to go ahead and say that 9/11 probably was bad.
I don't know.
Man,
what I'm saying is a bad event. It's a bad event, terrible event. And with all these things, horrible, horrific events to actually happen. But that being said, there are a lot of horrible people that died in those events.
Okay.
And then it's just kind of a thing. It's just okay.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So that's where we're at.
Man, I can't stop looking at, don't you think, like, is it something about being on a laptop camera, sorry, that makes your teeth look really white?
Yeah, I know. I noticed that as soon as we started. I was just thinking, it's a good one for our audio. You're kind of like our audio listeners here.
Like, look at my white t-shirt. It's literally...
The teeth do look really white. Oh. Look at Jackson. Yeah, for the because we're no visual. Like, Jackson's wearing like a white hood right now, like with the point at the top.
That's not what's going on.
Yeah, that's true.
What was I thinking? Oh yeah, and also, man, like, just like your kind of complexion and everything looks really consistent on these cameras. It's good. Maybe it's a good idea to wake up and just look at yourself in a laptop camera.
I've thought about this idea of, like, just the idea of having a mirror where you look good. Because I know, like, I've been in kind of two different places now. Like, I've been staying with family here, and the mirror is quite unflattering. And I know whenever I go to visit family, I look in their mirror, I'm like, goodness gracious, I look terrible.
Right. Or what about even at like stores? You go to a store to try on like a shirt or something like that.
Oh.
You take your shirt off and you're like, I am a pig. I am a little piggy.
I'm absolutely disgusting. And you kind of say like almost like stretch marks and kind of just how much flab you can kind of see, like cellulite and stuff like that.
It's
and you
crazy.
think to yourself, I'm not going to buy any of these clothes. I don't even deserve to be wearing clothes. I don't deserve to be spending money on myself because I look like a pig. I look horrible. And then you go home and you're like, I'm the king of the world sometimes. Like when it's late at night, I think I know my bedroom mirror at home. It's so flattering. And I leave the house kind of thinking, okay, I'm looking pretty good. And then as soon as I come see family, I'm thinking, good Lord, I've gone downhill. What's happening?
Man, it's so good looking at yourself when you're like drunk.
Right.
Because I think it's kind of like a little makeup tool for your brain. Like you look at yourself.
Interesting.
And you just look great. You just look like...
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Because again, for the listeners, I'm straight edge over here. I don't even know what that feels like. So that's what happens. You look good when you're drinking. That's wild.
Yeah, in my experience.
I guess it's the beer goggles, isn't it?
Yeah, for yourself. Yeah, you look at yourself and you kind of dissociate it at first. Takes you a second to like recognize that that's me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you call the police and you're like, excuse me, there's a handsome devil, I think in the room next to me. And they're like, have you been drinking? And then you say something along the lines of,
I have been. If you come and try and turn down the noise I've been making, I'm going to murder my infant child by drowning them in the bathtub before you get here.
And then they say, yeah, no, it's a good bit. That's a good bit. And then they hang up. Anyway, we're workshopping things here, folks. We're workshopping things here. But it's true. Like, I guess, what is better? To wake up in the morning, you look amazing, you leave the house. And you're thinking you're looking amazing all day. Or is it better to be more realistic, to have a mirror that makes you look, like, kind of points out all your insecurities, so you humble yourself. You leave the house, and you're just kind of realistic. And you're like, well, I look terrible. So I need to focus on and improve other things. I need to get better at my job. I need to be funnier, kind of more engaging, a better person to be around. Whereas if you have an amazing looking mirror, you leave the house thinking like, oh, I look like Brad Pitt.
No, you want to feel like Brad Pitt. And I don't think there's anything wrong with being arrogant. I don't think there's the only bad thing that comes from being arrogant like that is, I don't know, maybe the potential for hurting other people.
Comes from being arrogant.
But if you're exuding that kind of confidence, other people believe it. And you could look like shit.
They do.
You could look like shit, but think you look amazing, and people will be tricked into thinking you look amazing.
That's true. That's very, very true. It is all about that energy, because everyone keeps talking about that idea. Like, you do see like guys that are kind of questionable with like 10s all the time, because they've got the personality and the attitude of a 10. And then you meet these guys, you're like, that was the most attractive man I've ever met in my life. And then you kind of like, you add them on Facebook or something like that. And then you're like, oh, it's pretty average.
I honestly believe it's because, like, from an existential point of view, nothing really means anything. Not even beauty, not even things that sound nice, anything like that. It just all comes down to like a belief, and then kind of putting that out there.
I like that idea. And even like, I guess, what is attractive, what is kind of good looking, if someone believes it, if someone has like a good enough belief in themselves, you can kind of market themselves in such a way, everyone else is gonna be like, no, it's actually good to kind of have kind of like a pimply face or something like that. It's good to have this facial feature.
Oh, I think,
or it's like it's good to have a big nose.
Well, I think like a perfect example is
my small penis, where I've kind of convinced multiple women that it's actually a good thing. I'm not hurting you, because the other men will hurt you. You know that, right? It'll really, really hurt, and you won't enjoy it. And you kind of keep on saying that to them, to the point where if they ever encounter a man who's well endowed, they freak out. And you're like, sorry, no. You're a great person and everything, but no, sorry. It's too big. He's like, what are you talking about? It's 5.5 inches. And she's like, get away from me, Godzilla.
Damn, I forget what was I saying? Like a great example is like a lot of girls being like self-conscious about like freckles on their face, right?
Yes.
But then there are some girls and that's their whole thing. You know what I mean?
Oh, I love some good freckles. I love them.
Yeah.
And I used to hate them when I was young. I used to think it was so disgusting. And now I think it's amazing.
Oh, here's a really good example is like not liking something about yourself. You're like, oh, I wish I didn't, blah, 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 blah. And then someone else is like, yo, that's really cool, da, 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 da. And then you can flip it in your mind that easy if you respect that person's point of view. Oh, am I coming through?
Oh, if someone says, no, it looks cool, what you've got. Through nicely. How am I sounding? Am I sounding a bit funny? Oh. Am I moving?
Yeah, it was lagging a bit. We're good. Yeah, I mean,
okay, we're back.
Something kind of interesting with that. Like, think about. So I know, like, because I used to smoke cigarettes, and my skin is so much better when I'm not smoking cigarettes. Like, especially like bags under my eyes or whatever. And it's funny because like you think about cigarettes kind of being like this attractive, sexy thing.
Yes, completely. They are in a way.
Well, they are, but I think it's only for like if you're smoking full time, it's only like that for maybe like a year, and then downhill pretty quickly.
So like it goes downhill after a year, does it? You think after smoking?
I believe so. I mean, someone's going to get pretty unhealthy pretty quickly. They're always going to probably look better beforehand. But there's a time where it's like, it's a perfect crossover of like being sexy, like they're doing this dangerous thing and they look sexy naturally.
Yeah.
And then it kind of just gets to a point where both kind of implode and they're really unhealthy and they're really unattractive.
I think they just need to have cigarettes that are good for you. If they've managed to figure out a way where you could kind of like smoke vegetables, but I feel it's the smoke in general entering your lungs. I guess kind of like what could it be? What could the invention be? I guess kind of like some sort of like vaporizer, like whatever's in a steam room or something like that. That looks, basically anything that kind of is similar to a cigarette looks cool. It looks amazing and it's fun to do. Like if there was such a thing, if we smoked, we'd be smoking right now. It'd be such a funnier podcast. It'd be a cooler podcast and people would probably respect us.
What about just opening a business where you just kind of sell one cigarette at a time? You give it to the person and they're like, hey, why is there only one cigarette?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, don't worry. And they're like, wait, who said that? And because the noise is kind of coming through a wall and there's just a cigarette poking out through a hole and they're on the other side. And you're like, don't worry, just smoke this cigarette. And they're like, this is the smallest cigarette I've ever seen.
No, just smoke it. I know you want to be cool, right? You're going to be cool. I thought you kids wanted to be cool. You're like kind of target like kids that are in year 7, year 8. But I thought you kids wanted to be cool. I thought this guy would actually really respect, like the year 12s would actually really respect you if you did this. You know that, right?
Imagine.
You're like, okay, yeah, we better do it. And they're like, yeah, see, it's not that bad, is it?
Imagine you're with your friend in class and he's like, hey, you want to come smoke a cigarette? And you go to the bathroom. There's just a dick hanging through a wall. Like, hey, go and smoke
This
it.
definitely isn't Principal Landry. This definitely isn't Principal Landry. He keeps on saying that for some weird reason.
I would have probably wanted to, like, just please who I was with so much that I would have probably done it. I probably would have smoked that cigarette.
You would have.
Yeah, if I was
you would have filleted it. You would have filleted a man through a wall.
If everyone was doing it.
Had
that's
you thought
all
that
I'm
was
saying.
Okay. I guess there is that social pressure, isn't there? Where it's kind of like if everyone is doing something, how long until you, like, let's say if the genders were reversed in a way, men kind of just all wear dresses. And that's just cool. I feel like the most staunch kind of person who thought, no, that's not acceptable, would be wearing kind of like something that resembled a kilt.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They don't believe it looks good, but they're still wearing kind of like a kilt. Because I feel the popular opinion, what's popular and what people do, like peer pressure exists. That's just the truth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, could there be a trend? Like, again, if everyone was having, like, if it was okay to marry a 13-year-old, we would probably have 16-year-old girlfriends. That's just, you would have had a 16-year-old girlfriend. Everyone would have, like, it would be so normal. That's all it would take. If society was just like, yeah, no, this is just how it is. People are going to get on board. Even the ones who kind of think it's a bit strange. They're getting on board.
Yeah, I was thinking recently, it's crazy how there are things where, like being like, oh no, yeah, I just want to date a 15-year-old, and someone's, no, wait, first, so being like, oh no, yeah, I don't think we should have to wear seatbelts when we drive. And the other person's like, no, we really should. And it's just like, well, agree to disagree. You can wear a seatbelt, I won't wear mine. It's only going to do me harm.
Yeah.
But then being like, oh yeah, I just want to date a 15-year-old. The other person's like, no, that's wrong. And you're like, well, agree to disagree. You can have...
That's the funniest thing on earth. Where it's like, yeah, that's a raped a girl last night. You're like, wait, what are you talking about, dude? You're like, hey, that's horrible. You know that's illegal, right? You're like, hey, agree to disagree. Anyway, so what are we talking about? Who's playing tonight? Who's in the finals? Just literally implementing that idea, agree to disagree. Insane things.
I think there are more fundamentally believed things with people. There are fundamental things that are absolutely wrong. The seatbelt thing, for example, or another great example is like smoking weed. A lot of people think like I should be able to do to my body what I want to do. I should be able to smoke weed if I want to.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you can't do that. And it's like, oh, okay, well, I mean, I'm going to contact a dealer. I'm going to spend my own money. I'm going to smoke it myself in my own time. Has nothing to do with you. Then it's like, oh, well, agree to disagree. And then it's like, oh, I'm going to murder my infant baby.
Yeah. And it has nothing to do with you. I'm going to do it. I'm just going to go home. I'm going to grab a knife. And I'm going to do that. It's going to have nothing to do with you. This is me thing. I brought it into this world. I can bring it out of this world. How does it affect you? You say that to them.
Yeah, well, that's a crazy thing. I mean, like with like abortion rights, for instance, and it's like, it is my body and it's my choice. It's my life. I'm going to be spending raising this child. You know what I mean? It's like,
of course. Let's get on the topic of abortion a little bit.
We haven't really spoken about that.
Because it is a fascinating one. It is a very, I don't think we've ever talked about it. Because I'm very, very pro-life. No, I'm very, very pro-choice. Like, to such a point. Like, to such a thing I can't even really... I'm almost of the mind of, it just makes so much sense. It just seems to make so much sense. Like, why would you want to bring someone into this world that you can't help? Why would you want to bring in someone who goes straight, I guess, potentially up to very horrible circumstances?
You know I did.
Or it's like, I don't have any money. I'm addicted to that. Yeah.
Because God is great.
I guess it's a God thing. It's a God thing, isn't it? What if God was actually like, no, you kill him? Like, of course. You don't want to have a horrible life. Like, Jesus just comes down like, what are you guys talking about? I think it's obvious. And they're like, wait, what do you mean? But, what? It is an interesting one.
Well, I mean, I don't know. God's kind of got it easy because, like, his son died and he just brought him back and then took him away again. So I guess it's kind of God kind of has like a bit of a skewed vision of it. So I don't think we really need to listen to him when it comes to this whole thing.
Yeah, I almost think that, like, I feel the government should have a right to intervene if they feel a couple are not prepared to have a child. Like, a couple's about to have I feel you have to almost go through a group of people who have to, like, okay you to have a child. I feel that's kind of where I stand.
Oh,
I
so
feel in order
like,
to kind of give life, you have to be accepted.
What about
that's what I think.
What about so pro-choice? Because we do live in a democracy.
Yeah.
So what if any time there's a child about to be born,
yeah,
we kind of put it to a vote whether or not they can have a baby?
Yeah. Yeah, we literally, for every single birth, would be like, hey, you got, like, Daryl, and Taylor, they're giving birth. You're like, how much, what does Daryl do? What's his job? What about Taylor? How much does she bring in? What do they like as people? Can we get, like, an interview with them or something like that? You'd be like, oh, gosh, Daryl's pretty narrow-minded, isn't he? He's pretty ignorant. And let's say Taylor, oh, she's pretty ignorant as well. Yeah, no, sorry. No, they're not having kids. Anyway, who's next? That's what I honestly kind of believe. In like a perfect world, I could imagine that coming in. Not even like people, I guess just like a group. It's kind of like when you want to buy a gun, you have to kind of pass a whole bunch of checkpoints in Adelaide. You have to kind of make sure, you have to pass all these tests, you have to kind of pass an interview period. I feel that should be the same when you bring another life into this world. I feel it's so important that only really good people are able to procreate. I don't believe in freedom of procreation. I feel there should be some sort of laws to kind of protect it a little bit. There's too many bad people in the world. Way too many bad people in the world. And it's mainly because they were raised by people who shouldn't have been parents.
So let's kind of maybe go down that rabbit hole a little bit. And what would so you have to opt into being a parent. So everyone's kind of, what's the word? Everyone gets like a vasectomy.
Yeah.
And you would almost have to opt into it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You're opting into not getting a vasectomy. When it's no, I want to be able to procreate.
Well, everyone gets a vasectomy, and then you have to go you have to go to a panel to reverse your vasectomy.
That makes sense. I like that idea. You're like, hey, I wanted to bring a life into this world. And then you go to the panel and you plead your case. You're like, hey, this is the girl. Here she is. And you'd be like, hey, we want to be parents.
Man, this sounds like a great comic book or something like that.
Oh, even if it's a great kind of any Black Mirror episode or something.
Yeah, and then the people in control kind of get corrupt, and they only let people with penises under. They only let people with penises under 3 inches procreate.
So I literally have like 10 children. That's all it takes. It's the corruption of the government or the state. As soon as they become corrupt or they have like certain ideals where it's like, yeah, we're not really into interracial relationships. So you see kind of like an Irish guy with like a Korean wife, and they're like, yeah, you guys seem great, but there's something about you, no. Well, you have to show your penis to the panel. You're like, okay, yeah, you seem pretty good. Let's see it. Okay.
Yeah.
It's all right. don't be a little bit shy. Is it usually this small? I know it's I know it's a bit scary to show it to. We're pretty attractive people and everything. It's pretty intimidating, but are you sure you're going to be able to procreate?
You're just staring at it. You're just staring at it like, oh, that's strange. And they're like, what? And you're like, oh, I thought the thermostat was at 27. Not 6.
What about that? We just introduce it just so you can see people's penises and roast them. That'll be such a funny idea that they just get roasted.
Okay, so you have to opt into it. So everyone gets a vasectomy, and then you have to opt into getting pregnant.
And imagine for the people who don't want to procreate, they can go wild. Wild. Because most people can't be bothered to do stuff. That's the truth of the matter. So many people just can't be bothered.
I've been saying it for a while, like vasectomy, they should be like way more widely available. And then just kind of get them reversed. Because when you think about it otherwise, it's like, okay, run around and then like your partner like doesn't take the pill one time or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't know too much about it though. Is it hard to reverse?
It's just another procedure.
Does it work? Everything work as well after a vasectomy's occurred? I don't know too much about.
I'm not sure, but the other option is
the dangers in getting one.
Well, you don't even need to get it reversed necessarily. You could just freeze sperm, especially when you're at the healthiest point in your life. Then your sperm is going to be the healthiest it possibly could be.
Dang, imagine that. Imagine like we both now freeze sperm, and then we kind of put it to the test. You have like 2 children in like 10 years, one of your 30-year-old self and one of your 20-year-old self, and see how the kids turn out.
What about
fascinating.
What about you just find like the single most healthy person and you just jack them off for a month straight and then impregnate like 1,000 or like 10,000 women with all that semen, and then they're all related. So I don't know.
Is this eugenics? I don't even really know what eugenics means. Is this the thing where you're kind of like creating perfect humans? I don't even know what that means. I haven't really done much research in it.
No, I've never.
Yeah, but just that idea. I don't even know what the term means, but I know there's an idea of kind of getting involved in the creation of a child, like playing God a little bit. I do like that idea where it's kind of maybe even just if you are and smart supermodel, like just kind of freezing a whole bunch of your sperm, you have that option. Or finding someone who kind of looks like you but is a lot more intelligent. I do like that idea even, of just kind of being so rich that you just have 2 kind of really attractive, perfect specimens and you make them almost procreate and you have that child. Like, let's say you are 5 feet tall and you're pretty unattractive and your wife's not that attractive, but you just have these like 6'5" like Adonises who are extremely intelligent, who were basically made by 2 attractive people who are extremely intelligent. And then you raise those children. And you're just like 5 foot in this house with like these supermodels.
Well, you would end up...
There would probably be like, yeah, no, this is great. Why doesn't that happen more? If you're like a really rich, I guess it's you want you to be, I guess it's the whole nature versus nurture thing. I guess a lot of people like, oh no, I want myself in this child. But I guess you can kind of, if you bring them up and you raise them, they're basically raised by you. It's basically a version of you.
Yeah.
Without that weird tick that you have.
What is it about? what is it about people that like? Why does everyone want to see themselves in a child? You know what I mean? Why is it like almost every?
It's a bit, yeah. Why is everyone wants? They want to see themselves inside of a child. That's the thing. They want to see themselves inside one. They want to see a child and like to imagine themselves inside that child.
Wouldn't that be the funniest thing? Like going to like a not a school.
Something.
Wait, what was that?
Go to a school doing a speech and be like, just go into a school, or not even like a university, be like a professor of philosophy is like, why do I want to see myself inside a child? Why do I love
kids.
This?
I love kids.
Just kind of the guy that I love kids. Yeah, I want to see myself inside all the children. If I pass my own child, I would love to see that. Just a professor that's just giving off the wrong idea. But what were you getting at?
Oh, going to like a what do you call it? Someone that helps someone, like a fertility clinic kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they're like, now what can we help you with? And you're just like, I just really want to see myself. Have you thought of adoption? And you're like, adoption sounds great. I really just want to see myself in my child.
Yeah.
I love children. I always have. I've always loved children.
I just want to see myself inside of one. That's all.
I know my dad had a great time looking at me and seeing himself inside of me.
Sure, it affected me a little bit, but it was great for him, and that was the most important part. And I want to be able to carry on that tradition. Usually, it is passed down. They call it passed down trauma. If you look at it as traumatic, but I say it as a positivity. We're passing down positivity. I get to have the same experience when I'm old enough, as he kept on saying to me. But yeah, would you have an issue adopting a child?
No, I kind of said that I wouldn't really. It'll probably change because I'm so far away from actually thinking that I want to have a child that it might change. But I've always kind of said I would love to get like a vasectomy now and then adopt later on.
Right. Interesting. What's the reason
for
of adopting? Compared to having your own child and being able to see yourself inside another person.
Well, it's exactly that. It's like
you don't need to see yourself. You don't need it to be you exactly.
It must be like a mortality thing, like people looking at their own mortality and being like, my job is to literally spread my seed and help that child get raised or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just don't see that as a thing at the moment. You know what I mean?
Is it kind of like a rescue sort of scenario where it's like, why buy a dog when you can get a rescue? Like, there's two options you can take. There's actually a person who needs a family. Why are you denying them in a weird way? Why do you have to bring someone else in this world when there's someone who needs to have parents?
Exactly.
Is it that?
Yeah.
So you're thinking that.
Well, imagine adopting kid.
It's a good take.
Imagine adopting a kid and you also have a child and they end up hooking up. That would be pretty hot.
Ooh. That'd be crazy wild. Or they find out right at the end and it's like, oh, we're not related, and then literally run up to the bedroom, kind of like a teenage movie when he finally gets the girl. Or like they're on their honeymoon.
And they just lock the door and you can hear them smashing
The tear goes down your eye. And that's just like, that's the movie. There's these brother and sister that have feelings for each other. And at the end of the movie, the parents are like, yeah, you're not actually related. And they're like, what? And they run up, and then the happy music's playing. and they run up to the bedroom, and that's all you hear. Like the parents are downstairs, like a 2-story house, and the house is kind of like shaking, and they're like, "I'm so happy for them."
Yeah, actually.
And then the doctor calls up, and it's like, no, they actually are related. I think we had your files mixed up. No, your children are definitely related. Your wife definitely didn't go outside of your marriage. I know he has a strong jawline. Sometimes that just happens. They're definitely related. Ruh-roh.
What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. What about, like, we knew people, my family knew people who the father of the family was raised by his grandparents and thought that they were his parents. And his older sister was actually his mother.
Oh, yes.
That's a crazy one.
I think you saw that on Reddit.
No.
You didn't. This isn't anything you know. This was the thing on Reddit. So,
I think
you presented me a lot of things from Reddit as your own. I think it's a little bit of a trend I'm starting to find.
Name one other thing.
What was it? I can't even think, but I know there was another one. And I was like, no, I've seen that on Reddit.
No, this didn't happen.
Anyway.
You've seen this on Reddit.
Yeah, no, I have seen it on Reddit. I like that argument as well. Like, no, you've seen that on Reddit. Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then you just kind of end it there.
Yeah, no. He's like he's like a very close family friend, this guy.
Okay, and he's really bigoted and kind of old-fashioned. And he calls everyone hot stuff. You want to jive? Hey, Jackson, we ready to jive tonight? And you're like, yeah, you're 21. Why are you talking like that? Get down.
I don't know what you're getting at.
Because if someone was raised by their grandparents, they're raised by people who are from an older generation, kind of like boomers. And if a young person's, raised by older people, they're going to act more mature. They're going to act differently.
I'm pretty sure it had something to do with getting out of Germany.
Okay.
To be in like World War II. So this guy comes from Germany, and his older sister was pregnant with him. So his mum, when she was like 15 years old.
Okay.
And then the parents raised this kid, and he found out like way late in life that's actually his mum. They're actually his grandparents.
And the Jewish people aren't that bad.
Yeah. He's still learning that.
So there's something there. He was raised by older people in Germany. Let's just say they have some pretty staunch ideas.
What else did I have? I did have something that I wanted to bring up.
What, your penis? Hello. Yeah, what else is new in the world? What else is...
Oh yeah, that's right. I did a job interview the other day. I entered the chat like a little bit late.
Yeah.
And I didn't enter with like my video straight away.
Oh, you did it on Zoom?
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah.
And I entered it without my video up straight away.
Yeah.
And I had my AirPods in, and I had Legion of Skanks playing off my phone on the desk next to me.
Oh, yes.
And what kind of
happens?
Jess,
I didn't know you were cool.
What happens is it kind of just like when the other people enter the chat, it just pulls you into it. So I'm like in a waiting room, I guess.
Oh, yes. And you're playing this off your phone, Legion Escape.
I'm playing it off my phone while my AirPods are connected to the laptop. And what happened was, because I didn't connect my video straight away, I thought it'd just be a black screen with my name on it.
Yeah.
And as it entered the chat, as it came up, I saw it all happen at once. It was like speaker view.
Yeah.
There was noise coming through my AirPods, so it came up with my photo, which is on my profile, not just my name, which was a picture of me sitting in between Noah and Joe flipping the bird.
Oh.
With Legion of Skanks.
That's your Zoom. That's your Zoom profile, is it?
Well, it must be like connected to Facebook or something like that. I don't recall putting that
Facebook
photo
profile
on
picture. It's like a Facebook profile.
No.
Got the bird up.
No.
Where's his bird photo come from?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even. But yeah, and then Skanks was like coming through the AirPods.
Seeing you give the bird.
A photo of me flipping the bird with Legion of Skanks coming through the thing.
Yeah.
And I turned that off and I like switched my video on and I realized as well that I had received a message just saying saying that the chat had already started or something like that and they were waiting for me.
Oh, yeah.
So the people that were interviewing me were waiting and that was the first thing that came up. And then it never got brought up. It never got brought up throughout the whole interview. I haven't heard anything since.
Dang, so what did you do? What happened? So you're flipping the bird. How long do they see that for?
Oh, I don't even know, like a good couple of seconds.
Right. So they're like, Jackson, and there's this flipping the bird and they're hearing like a racist podcast in the background.
Yes.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
Yeah.
But I guess everyone's kind of willing to turn a blind eye to a lot of Zoom mishaps.
Yeah, well,
I don't feel that's a thing.
I was just thinking like how... Because you couldn't get away with that if it was in person, you know what I mean? If I just brought...
But that's the awkward thing, because that was actually in person. You came with your two friends, flipped the bird, and then started playing Legion of Skanks. And so this is the reason why I'm going to be getting this job.
If I went to an in-person interview and I brought a photograph of me flipping the bird and I just held that up in front of me and then just played a racist podcast during that in-person interview... But no, that was pretty good. I think that was what?
That would be amazing.
I was like last Tuesday or something like that, I think. And I haven't heard anything since.
Are you slugged by that?
No, not from those guys.
Dang. How long did the interview go for?
Oh, it was like half an hour or something like that.
Right. Oh, I have a feeling I did an interview on Zoom. I think I may have, even before... Wait, did Zoom come up way before COVID? I think I may have done an interview in 2019. I remember I had to do, or maybe it was Skype. I think it was Skype.
True, yeah, right.
It may have been an interview on Skype. But it is a weird thing. But I feel like it's so normal now. People are kind of willing to overlook it. Like, it's not really an issue if there's awkward stuff. Because I know, especially for a lot of the podcasts that we do earlier on, like when the second round of COVID was happening, and you could change your desktop background. Oh, actually, no, during 2020. I remember I had like, I think I had a photo of Hitler with naked Hitler with a whole bunch of naked women around him.
No.
And I think I went to start a client.
No.
I'm pretty sure that happened. Oh, what? No. Actually, no. I think it may have been with a friend, and I was just kind of like, "Oh, this is too awkward to understand." like a friend I knew wouldn't really understand the comedy
in
that.
Oh my god!
And it came up, and I just quickly changed it and didn't say anything. I do feel, it's awkward. It's really awkward. And I know this was about to happen when we're doing some of the earlier Zoom calls with friends of the podcast like Lachlan and that, and Dishy. I was so tempted to do some things with my background, but I knew there was a slight chance that as soon as I was afraid I was just going to end it, and then bam, I'm with a client later, and that comes up. Because it's so funny in the moment, and it's such an easy thing to forget. And sometimes, especially like you only press start video when they're there, and it's like, oh, okay, they're in the waiting room. Let's start the video, and then I'll connect my video, and then bam, you've got your background there. You're done. Like it's awkward.
I wonder how much you could kind of plead ignorance to something like that. Like you've clearly gone out of your way to set it.
That's true. Like, let's say you're going for a job interview and there's a huge swastika. And you're like, no, it's probably flipped. I'm a Buddhist. It's probably flipped. I like that idea of just, a girl coming to your house, you just got a huge swastika on the wall. You're like, no, it's a Buddhist symbol of peace. You're like, the Buddhists, they didn't really have the red and the white outline. You know that, right? The Nazis kind of did that themselves. And you're like, hey, agree to disagree.
That's the episode title. We've got it.
There we go. And then you take your jumper off and you got an armband on. And be like, so, where are we going tonight?
Man, we are getting closer to getting out of lockdowns.
We are. What's going on? I think it's getting exciting.
Yeah.
Very exciting for everyone. Yeah, we're going to be going ham when we get back. There's going to be a lot of special surprises. We're going to completely change. We're going to become like a very outrageous show. We're going to have interview strippers. We're going to do contests. We're going to we're going to get wild.
Booyah.
Booyah.
Booyah. Yeah. What else has been popping?
What else has been popping off in the world? What else is new in the world? Yeah, I think that's probably most stuff. Let's see, is there any... Oh, something about the idea... I thought it was a funny idea of Noah accidentally brings like the same sex of every animal onto the boat. It becomes like a huge gay orgy.
That's good.
I thought that was pretty funny. I don't know if I stole that from somewhere. What else? There was... let's see... the new iPhone came out. I'm looking forward to getting that. But I feel like they're slowly kind of invading what you do more and more.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a bit of an issue. Like I read somewhere they have access to all your photos. There's only the cloud option.
Right.
There's no personal photo option. I've heard that. And it's also got 5G. It's going to be interesting when everything kind of gets moved to that cloud format. Because I'm an old-fashioned guy. I like to have control of my files. I don't like using the cloud. I like to have solid copies. I'm a big file person. I just don't trust the cloud. I'm old-fashioned. I don't like the idea that something could potentially go wrong and I could lose it all. Or people have access, or I accidentally press one button and it goes to the wrong person. Oh. Still there.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, he's coming through.
But how would that kind of work? If you were not connected to cellular at all? Surely you could still take photos.
I know. That's what I think it may have just been a rumor, but I am scared of just how technology as well is just kind of progressing to where nothing is going to be sacred anymore. And I think they talked about this idea where it's going to be, no one's going to own anything. Like, no one's going to have a car. No one's really going to have a house. Everything's kind of in like a cloud sort of scenario. There's no sort of ownership.
Yeah.
True. It's an interesting world. It's an interesting world. And I guess it's got that thing where nothing's really going to be sacred anymore. But I guess, is that a good thing?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it should. I think that's being human, but
could I live in a world where everything's just out there?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't.
Oh.
Are we good?
Oh, yeah, I'm sounding good. Yeah, I think you just froze up for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's like we bring in these procedures and everything like that to kind of make sure people are safe to kind of pursue these things. Exactly the same as we're talking about with like saying like, oh, this person doesn't want to wear a seatbelt. You know what I mean? It is illegal.
Yes.
It is illegal, but all that means is you're going to get in trouble if you get caught. You know what I mean? Something like that where they can monitor everything means that people will get caught instantly with anything they kind of do online like that. If you were to order...
Yes.
You know what I mean? If you were to order like drugs off the dark web, for instance, they'll be able to follow your kind of search history.
Yeah, even search history. Like the idea of if someone is researching a whole bunch of very specific things that potentially aren't illegal, but if someone keeps on searching, how do I get away with murder? How to murder someone? Best things to get rid of a dead body. How to do all this. Is there going to be a time where there's like an intervention? Where people come around and be like, hey, why are you searching all this stuff?
Or even like in a more realistic kind of case, like someone that enjoys, because the government gets to decide what kind of like comedy, for instance, is radicalized. And then you can't even go and listen to those podcasts or whatever. Like say Sausage Boys got on a list and then you were viewed by companies, people wouldn't hire you for listening and da-da-da-da-da.
Yes. It's even I'm kind of scared to it's so funny how much censorship there is, and it's very questionable. Like there's two things. I saw a video of these kids who snuck onto Epstein's Island, Little St. James. And that video's been hidden by YouTube and Google. Like you just can't look that up. And it makes you think, why are they trying to hide this? Why are they trying to kind of defend this? But and there's also another thing, I guess, of I'm scared to send certain things. I think I was going to send you, like what we were talking about last week, that Mr. Bond guy. I was going to send it through on Facebook and hey, look at this. And I did a quick Google search and Facebook can delete your account if they find that they monitor the messenger as well. If you're sending messages that are deemed, racist, hateful, containing disturbing images, they can delete your account for that. Not just stuff you post, but stuff conversations you're having on Messenger. I mean, and I was even thinking like I had like a fake gun. Like there's a fake, like a BB gun or something. And I wanted to do like a pose like you'd see with the serial killers when they're kind of like looking at the camera like this. I wanted to send that through like as a joke. And I was thinking I don't know, if someone saw that, it could be very questionable. They don't understand the background and how funny it is. And even just in particular, the idea you can't really use Facebook Messenger freely. You have to really make sure you're not doing all these things. And it does become very blurred. Like, what is hateful? What is something that's considered racist? You could send like an edgy meme to someone and suddenly you don't have a Facebook account anymore.
That is very interesting.
And you can't Google certain things. You can't search things on YouTube. Like, there's even certain things, I think you can't search if certain celebrities are gay. They don't show that stuff because I think they find it homophobic. And it's just getting kind of more and more funny and interesting, the things you can't do. You can't Google if someone is trans. It just will not show you any answers to that.
That is interesting.
Like, it's gonna be very funny with just how much more censorship there's going to be. I guess there's going to be a rise of a lot of these free speech platforms. I feel that's just going to become more and more necessary. These kind of privately owned websites where people, and social media sites that people can go onto. But it gets to the point where Google is going to block this, and it's almost impossible to get on them.
There'll be a way. It's the same thing with kids wanting to drink alcohol. You know what I mean? If the parents don't kind of facilitate that, tell them about it, whatever, the kid is going to drink. And if they don't, they're gonna find other ways to fuck up, probably even worse. And I think
I guess how can I find out if The Rock's gay though? You can't find that out. Or if Prince is gay. You can't find that anymore. How's the kid? Oh, I guess you'd have to try to make them and just seduce them. And you get to that point of passion and you're like, oh, I knew it. Anyway, see you later.
True, yeah. Yeah. We're gonna need like an alternative version of Google where you kind of have agents that go out and seduce men to find out if they're gay.
Yeah, you want to find out if The Rock's gay? That would be $1,000. Would that be worth it? For you to actually know? If you really thought he was gay and you could have a guy... I like that service. Just like, are they gay? It's an app where you can go on and there's a tier and everything. Like, people like Barack Obama would cost... Oh, but no, we can crowdfund it as well. Barack Obama towards that cause. And someone goes, again, because they're risking a lot, someone close to him has to seduce him. And then they find out. Because rumors that Kanye West is gay, there's so many rumors out there. And you can't search this stuff, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's like isn't it crazy, like on Family Guy, like probably like 10 years before like Bruce Jenner came out as transgender and actually changed their gender and was like Caitlyn. And yeah, I mean, there's this joke on Family Guy.
Predict it?
Yeah, where the Bruce Jenner comes out and is doing like a show for the troops.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, the joke is like he's meant to be like a sexy American woman. It's like just a little reminder of what you're fighting for kind of thing. And it's Bruce Jenner with like a feathery thing like around his neck, like spinning it around and whatever.
Yes.
How do they
you know what it is? It's like, because everyone knows this stuff. If you're in the scene, you know what's up. And like, I guess if you are like if you're in PR, you do PR like for the Kardashians, you kind of work around them. If you're a stylist, I'm sure so many stylists know all the goss of Hollywood. And I think back in the day, they would just kind of go to the internet and be like, yeah, no, that's true. I'm a stylist, right. I work with this person, and it's true. But nowadays, you can't even find out from the stylist anymore. And that's getting scary. Because I feel like, on all the TV shows, they would kind of give hints at Hollywood insides of what's going on.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But it's interesting.
Mm.
And it's going to be interesting to see how long we last as well.
What do you mean?
Or just even on social media, or on the Instagram page, if there end up being any issues with the stuff we post.
It is very interesting. Yeah, there's one comedian that I followed from Sydney that I saw got banned from Facebook the other day just from like sharing some kind of jokes about like the COVID vaccines and the rollout and everything like that.
Oh, yeah, the COVID one's fascinating. Yeah. You can get banned so quickly for that. And it's things they care about. I feel there's like a list of things that are very important. If you kind of joke about it or spread misinformation on the no topics, like it's almost impossible to kind of bring up negative or kind of information about COVID that goes against the narrative.
I think it's probably a nuance in conversation is something we're going to have to find a way around moving forward with social media and everything. Human communications.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because getting to that point where I guess, but it's true because I guess if people are out there with information that shouldn't be seen, it can get a lot of people on board. I think we had this same conversation last week. But it's interesting in terms of the area of censorship. But I might need to get a Wazzy in though.
Yeah, let's wrap there, and then
family.
I might give you a little call. I got some bits I want to run past you actually. Oh. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, but everyone, we're good. But yeah, peace out, family.
Peace out, fam. Thanks for listening. And yes. we'll be back in person soon. And in the meantime, yeah.
Soon, Lee. Something about Woody Allen. We're going to be in person. We're going to be inside soon, Lee. Anyway, peace out.
Peace out.
Peace.
Yo.
Yo.